Welcome back to Zamora Woodworking. This is Nick. This is the second part on how to make the jack-o'-lanterns with the Onefinity CNC, any CNC in general, but this is specific to the Onefinity with the layouts and such. This is the most efficient way that I've found. I do have the original cut file available on the Etsy store along with many other products. If you find any information in this helpful, if you could like and subscribe, it'd be great. It lets me know that I'm doing the right thing and it's worth my time to come out and haul the camera out, walk through all this and give away as much knowledge as I can. Please give me plenty of feedback and share this video with other people you think might use it. I think in the future I might make a tutorial on how to build a torsion box for the new Onefinity Journeyman. And if I'm going to go through the work of filming all that, just be nice to get all the feedback and get some people that actually want to see it and turn it into like a really nice little table, because this is just the original standard woodworker. I got the Journeyman coming in here soon, so thanks again. This is the part 2 of putting together jack-o'-lanterns for the beginner. You just finished up, you got all these cut. Now what do you do? See these lines here? We're going to go and cut these here in a second, but we need to make sure that we don't lose any of this material or any of this, so whenever we cut, putting our saw blade to the edge here and cutting, and then to the edge up here and cutting. So this will be the waste material inside there. The final material will be everything that you see raised right here to right there. That'll be the total height, which comes out to 9 3/4. You can see that, and all of them are the exact same. If you look at the width of these, I was wrong in the previous video. It's not 5 1/4. It looks like almost 5 1/2. Pretty close. Anyways, the two other parts that we'll be cutting while we're up there are more side panels, which will have the same width within, you know, a 1/16 of an inch, not a big deal. Now remember when I was talking about the 6-inch panels, well, these are the 6-inch pickets, excuse me. These are them, and at least at my local stores, they're mix and match. They're still good to use, but for, say, a top, if you look at them, there's a difference between those two. So try to use the smaller ones. If you get mix and match like I did, use the smaller ones for all the way around for the front and the sides, and then use the 6-inch for the tops. That way you can one-piece it. If not, I have in the past used little tiny fillers if I had the skinnier ones, and this is like a filler that I've used here, and I'll put that on like the back side of the roof. This isn't obviously a roof piece, but just imagine it was cut to right there. That'd be the filler for the back of it, and go on top there. It doesn't really look bad. The thing that I'd make sure with that is that you don't pick the thickest board to do it with. See how the thicknesses are different. All these things vary, and you have a big lip there, which most people don't care anyways. So this is the side panel, and then for the roof, I found that this works the best for me, so it looks about a 7 1/4. And here, you know, you're just under 6. So we'll go up to the shed and start cutting. Okay, up here at the shop, still got these guys here. These are obviously the end goal here. You got one here as an example. So you got your front piece here, and your sides, I like to have them overlap, because if you do, you know, go over too far and blow out, this still gives you a side. So if this was too far over, no one really seems to notice the spacing on these. And you know, since the thickness varies and the only part that you really have set is here, you're never going to get them perfectly centered. Don't beat yourself up about it. And these are all goofy faces and stuff anyway, so no one truly cares. Yeah, so here's the tops of these. This one's a single piece. I have some that are different than that. And then I also cut out these little guys from scraps, 2-inch by 2-inch. And then I use just tree branches I find around. I found that those look pretty nice. Not a bad. This one's a bit long. I found later on that I probably shouldn't do that anymore, but if you look at these other ones, they're, I don't know, they look pretty good. If you look from the bottom, you can see how they're arranged. That's the face, that's the back. Here's the two sides. I'll show you how to assemble these in a little bit. Right now, I'll show you with the cutting these guys out here, making sure these are all good to go. We'll do the assembly in the basement because it's super hot out here right now. So yeah, we're gonna cut out these sides and tops the most efficient way that I've found. I have quite a few cuts, so I'm just gonna show you how to cut start these up, and then we'll go downstairs and start assembling. Okay, to start off, here's the side piece. Now make sure that these are not the 6-inch wide ones. Make sure they're the smaller ones, or else you have to go through and rip all of these down. As long as your sides stay the same length and your front stay the same length, your front and back, it's not a big deal. But then making your tops will be difficult. If they're all 6 inches, then you can't use a 6-inch for the top unless you don't want any overlap on the very top piece. So what I like to do with these is, make your first cut, get your length down. So I believe these are 9 3/4. Double check on that. So yes, 9 3/4. You can see that right there. Go through and cut your 9 3/4. Then turn off your saw. Right here, I like to lock it into place there, and it has it just up enough to where the teeth are right there. I'll put this guy here, and I'll get my clamp, and I'm not putting pressure back towards the saw because that'll bind it up later, but I'll get it to where it's that, and this also looks straight, so I'm looking at this and this because I don't want it to be at an angle. Then what I'm planning on doing is stacking many boards because I don't want to do one cut for one and then another and another and another. That takes a lot of time. With this, you can do a lot at once per cut, and it just saves you a lot of time. You want to find every little way you can save time. So this is for the side. Release that guy. Then I will come over here and grab boards. This is just 2 of them right here, but I don't have a ton left because I've already cut a ton of them. I don't like to leave this end here because they seem to split. So first I'll cut that guy off of there. Okay, dispose of that. Now, come on over. Make sure both of them are touching because sometimes these boards will get out. And then make sure it's pushed all the way up against the fence, both of them, or however many you have, so I can keep going up. Now the tricky part to this cut is you need to cut let the saw come to a complete stop, then lift up. If you pull up your saw while it's still spinning, it may grab these boards and it'll really make for a bad day. But you don't have to worry about losing that time since you'll be cutting 5 or 6 of these at a time, or however many you can manage. Got 2 side pieces here. Great. Once you're done with that, you want to cut out as many as you need. You don't want to, switching back and forth between the sizes takes a lot of time and energy, and you want to try to save it everywhere you possibly can. So get all your sides done, then get all your tops done. Then, set up for your faces at 31 3/4. So here we'll set up, turn off the saw, or unplug the saw back here. Okay. I'm going to bring it on down, get that out of the way. And this is one of my master copies here. So push that up against there. Release this. Bring it up close. Make sure that it's touching all on the bottom and it's not way like this or way like that. It's just parallel. I mean, these aren't incredibly critical, but you just want things to fit together nicely. So push down. I'll release the stop. Now, I can repeat the same steps I did for the sides to make 2 tops. So here we go, that's touching, both of those are touching. This back part is pushed against there. At least with my saw, they seem to walk like this. So make sure they're pushed up against there. Start the cut. Let it come to a stop. You see how that kind of bound up and kicked it out. If that blade was still moving, it would do that a lot faster, scare the crap out of you. You could lose fingers. Just not smart. Just wait for it to stop. So these guys are ready to go. So now we got our 2 sides, the top. I have more downstairs, so I'm not going to cut a ton more. I was just showing you the general premise of how I was doing it. Now we got to clean up the pieces that we just made from the Onefinity. So I like to remove this. These I do one at a time, I don't stack them. You can, it just seems like a pain to get them all correct, so I just do it one at a time. Obviously don't put your hand anywhere near there. If you look, it was a 1/4 inch bit that cut this. This saw blade is not a 1/4 inch wide. It is a lot thinner. So if you look, when this comes down, I'm not going to put any power on it, but it can go back and forth because there's a big open area there. So what I like to do is bring it down almost all the way, then push it against the edge where I can feel it start to go, and then I'll cut through. So I'll start, get it down into that channel, slowly push my piece of wood over, then it's right where I want it, or you can do it from right here. Just do that while it's not running, push it over, start it, and then just cut on through, move it down, and then since this is a 1/4 inch and this blade's width is not a 1/4 inch, you're gonna have to make a cut in the channel that touches this side and touches this side to give you that 9 3/4 total length. So I'll do that now. Look at that. Good to go. Got the top one on that. I like to spin this last one around because I don't like to hold with my right hand and cut with my left. I try to keep it all the same so I don't lose any fingers. So this last cut, move over here. So this piece was like this. I'll flip it around. Got it cut, and see this was a blowout here. Maybe I milled the, I do have a cut on this side, so maybe I cut it too thin, but it doesn't matter because you're gonna have that side here. Whoop, put the nicer side forward. And see, it really, no one notices, no one cares. Anyways, that is how you cut those. Now let's go down in the basement and I will show you how I assemble. Thanks. Before I forget, the little pieces that I put over here, typically they're 2 inch by 2 inch or so. I think that's what these ones are. They can be a little bigger, a little smaller, whatever. Yeah, so around 2 inches, somewhere around there. Fastest way that I found to make those is I'll take, this was a full picket, and I'll run it on my table saw, 2 inch width, and then I'll take a full one of these because one of these will make just a ton. I'll cut it in half, and then once I cut it in half, I'll just keep running it through here and chopping it at 2 inches. So every 2 inches, I'll just demonstrate it here. So I have marked right here with a little pencil, the 2 inch mark, and line these up, put them flat against there. Bring it right to that 2 inch mark, make sure that those are the same. Wait till the blade stops. Got those guys. Move it. And you can do this with 2, 3, 4 boards, whatever. I don't go much past this since the lip is just barely touching this board and stopping it from getting flung back there. Yeah, there's the top pieces there. Okay, we're back down in the basement, and this is the most efficient way that I've found to put these guys together. So, start off with this guy. Give it a quick once over, see which side looks better. So you see this guy, using the crappier bits, it tears out a little bit. I don't know, some people like that, some people don't. I tend to put it out this way, and these will get cleaned up at a later step. These were the tabs, see, using the crappier bit, it automatically just popped those out. Some of them stayed like that one, but yeah, this would be my outside. So being the outside, this, you're gonna have one piece going this way, one piece going this way. what I like to do is, I don't obviously do it here, but this is the cleanest place I've got right now for reasons. So start off with this guy. I usually keep a stack of these there, and then a big stack of the side pieces, and I'll tell you why I don't have the back pieces here in a second. So the nicest side I'll put towards my left, which I'd say this is the nicest. Quickly get some glue, run it across, and then look at this guy, see the nicest side. I'd say this is the nicest side that I want showing this way. So I'll put this one here, hold together. Obviously don't put your fingers anywhere near there. I like to use a pin nailer with just little tiny pins in it. And these just hold it until the glue dries. And I'll go onto this side. Look at this guy. See which side I want to face forward, which would be this one. Hold it right here. Okay, so if you'll notice, these are not square whatsoever. Like this board has a bend to it, this one has a bend to it, this one has a bend to it. I have only been attaching these three with glue. I'll let them sit, so I'll do this one, set it, in a different spot, because I want these lines here to be as tight as possible. And if you put another board here and pull those in, it's going to pull those apart. So I wait until that glue is dry. Maybe I'll come back to these in another day. So you can see a little bit there, not too bad. But if you put that other board there, since this would be the same width, you can see how far out those are. And if I suck those in, it's going to rock those parts apart. But it's not a big deal. Just let this one dry. You run on to your next one. Then when you get all these ones that are dry, you come over and you grab one of the back plates. You end up putting that on, which I'm just for this one, I'm going to use this wet one because I don't have any dry ones around me. And the way that I like to do these is I'll put glue, make sure it's a good side. I'll put glue on this, and the pins only hold the board in place until the glue dries. So I'll do that, put these together, make sure that they're pretty square, and then put a pin through there, push that together, pin through there, and then here, feel that those are close, but don't keep your finger here and then drive a pin, because those pins can go wild. They can come right through your thumb. So get it close, hold it with this other hand way far away where the pin can't get, obviously. And hold this one. I usually do 3 per side, sometimes 2, it depends on how nice it's fitting. So you can kind of tell it's not perfectly square right now because I didn't let this one dry, and then once that glue's dry and you suck it back in, it's not a big deal. So we're going to assume that this is all dry. Then I'll usually let those sit. Once that's done, come back through and I'll put a layer of glue all the way across. See that? Grab this guy, and they're always going to be warped one way or another. I found having the cup facing up works the best, and if you cut them to the right dimensions, which these are 7 1/4, and then the width, these are the wider ones that are 6 inches wide. Put it like this. I usually set it on there. I'll feel around to where it feels pretty even. I'll take it and put one there, there, there. Now the tops on this one, you can either let it dry or continue to work on it. Okay, once you got this guy all put together like that, grab, so these are like the 2" by 2" squares, 2 to 3 inches, somewhere in there. It doesn't have to be exactly precise. I like to grab a little bit of glue on this guy, put it on top, and I try to keep the grain going the same. I tried the other way, I thought it might look good. I didn't think it looked that great. So, just 2 to tack it. And these are pin nails. I don't know, I hadn't seen these before. I think they're awesome. Just little tiny pins. They're not brad nailers, they're pin nailers. And they're so tiny you can't even see where they shoot in there. I'll see if I can find the link to this one or whatever, put in the description below. I think you guys might like it. It's really made projects for me a lot easier, especially being a battery instead of air. Oh, it's a killer. So these guys I like to cut out of just branches to put on the top. What I like to do is use these guys, and because they're free and I don't have to tie up my CNC making them, and I'm sure not cutting them on the scroll saw. Just put a little bit of glue on there so you don't have a ton of squeeze out. It's one of the few times I'll push in the glue. The other ones, it seems to just make its way where it needs to be, and it doesn't have to hold too crazy. But if you put them forward, they look weird. Put them back, they look a little strange. I found kind of offsetting them like this or like this. More often than not, they end up like this because I use my right hand to nail them. So I try get them like that, somewhere in the middle of there, and just run a pin nail. Get your fingers out of the way. Okay, one that way, one that way. This one's done. Go let it sit. I don't put bottoms on mine. I've seen other people that do, and they look great. I mainly don't, because if I make a ton of these, I can stack them up like that and store them just fine. You put a bottom on them, I wouldn't recommend doing this till the very end, and then if you're selling these in mass to customers at, say, a flea market or something like that, doing that last part for all of them and having it able to be broken off during the day because it didn't get enough time to dry kind of seems like a pain in the butt. So I don't put bottoms on them. I figure, you know, where they're going to have them at, or in their house or this or that, because it's cedar, so it doesn't have to be outside. I wouldn't recommend using treated wood, but yeah, I do that, and then, you know, set a little light in there, and they look just fine. I mean, they look better with a bottom, but then you got to figure out a way to get the light in there. And then I've seen other members that cut out holes to put the lights in. Looks great. That's a lot more time for me. If they don't sell like I think they should be, I guess I'll start doing that, but no one's complained about this. The last thing I will tell you is to get like this little part off, or, you know, these tabs here, because this is flipped, that this was actually down when it was cut, so the tabs are facing us. I get my little Dremel tool, and of course I don't do this right here, and this is dangerous to do it this way, so have it sitting. I'm just kind of doing this for demonstration purposes. Use a little bit on this. You can have the ones with the end that doesn't cut. I just didn't do that. I have them for my drywall, but I just said screw it, it works well enough with a cutting end on this. So turn it on. That looks like it for this one. If you did like this video and want to show your support, if you can like, subscribe, visit the Etsy store. I have the file on there. Let me know if you want to see a video on how to make the file. I mean, I don't make a ton of money from it, but, you know, it's nice to make a little money from the Etsy store, pay for some of the bits and stuff like that. And if you guys like and subscribe, it lets me know that these videos are doing something. Without it, just kind of spending a ton of time not getting any feedback, so please do so. Thanks, and good luck making your pumpkins. Catch you in the next one.